shout. When you hear the trumpet or the flute, know it's a battle. Time to put your vehicle in a drive, ready to travel. Like Mary, you are going to use your foot, kick off shackle. When the war so easy on me body, and when it got man them there,
the God man them in the place. Greetings and salutation. This is the mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Can you imagine October 8th already? And we are dealing with infidelity in marriage. Very, very serious topic. Want to welcome you, Kevin and Courtney, in the place. And we are so happy that you have decided to join us because you have other choices. So what constitutes infidelity in a marriage? The definition of infidelity in marriage can be based on a person's beliefs, values, and expectations from the relationship. Viewing pornography, unfaithful behavior, sex outside the relationship, and emotional affairs in different degrees can be termed infidelity by a spouse and may not be considered as forms of cheating in a relationship by the other partner. So what are some of the signs of infidelity? A sudden lack of interest or rough spots in communication, spouse acting guilty for no apparent reason, a non-existent sex life are some of the common signs or symptoms of infidelity. Infidelity, adultery, or cheating is a form of betrayal. It can occur as sexual infidelity, emotional infidelity, or a combination of both. It does not signal an end of love in marriage, but certainly causes a lot of heartbreak to the betrayed spouse. If couples are willing to work on the infidelity issues, their relationship can be restored. This is the program designed for men with guests or men, hosted by men, aired every Wednesday, unless it's a holiday, at 5:30 p.m. Right here on Love 101, your family station. It's the mailbox. And I am Kevin Bailey, my co-host, right here.
Good afternoon, Jamaica. Good afternoon to the World Wide Web. Good afternoon, good morning, good day. Depends on what part of the world you're in. To all our listeners, thank you for making it Love 101 and making it your station of choice. We're talking about infidelity in marriage, men who get cheated on, and effects of divorce on the family. Infidelity in marriage can be devastating for both partners involved. When men get cheated on, it affects them differently than women, often triggering feelings of anger, hurt, and betrayal. Today, we'll be having a conversation with our guests, grief counselor Dr. Marlon Simpson and Mr. Trey Walters, certified Christian life coach and author, as they share about overcoming infidelity as a man. I'm Courtney Morrison. Good afternoon.
I want to really welcome our very special guest this afternoon. Our guests this evening are grief counselor Dr. Marlon Simpson and Mr. Trey Walters, certified Christian life coach and author. I'll introduce Dr. Simpson and Courtney will introduce Trey. So Dr. Simpson is a licensed clinical psychologist that has successfully completed his doctoral studies with an emphasis on trauma neuropsychology. Marlon works with the Bellevue Hospital, the Revamp Center at St. Joseph's Hospital on weekends, where he conducts neuropsychological assessments and behavioral modification for patients who have had traumatic brain injuries. He is also a clinical psychologist at the Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean. Marlon is also working as a clinical psychologist with a company based in Belize as well as one in Beijing, China. In his private practice, he sees a range of clients, both adults and children, specifically creating treatment plans for children with autism spectrum disorder. The doctoral project centers around stroke and levels of PTSD in patients. He's the proud father of two sons, Micah and Courtney, to whom he has dedicated his life to raising well. Welcome, Dr. Simpson. Great to have you again.
Yes, thank you. It's really good to be back here with you. If you'll allow me quickly, just to update you that I am with CPFSA now as Director of Therapeutic Services and Psychosocial Support.
Uh-huh. Well, and for our audience, tell us what those initials mean.
All right. So essentially, so CPFSA, formerly known as CDA, so Child Protection Family Services Agency. So we look about and ensure the safety and well-being of all children and their families as well, right? Both in their homes and
Thanks
in
very much.
residential care in various forms.
Oh.
Blessings. Excellent name for a son, Courtney. It is. Mr. Trey Waters, he's a certified Christian life coach and author. Trey Waters is the best-selling author of How I Lost My Wife to a Warlock, a certified Christian life coach and a mentor. His story of resilience and faith has inspired audiences worldwide. Trey's mission is to empower people to heal, overcome life's valleys, and unlock their God-given potential. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and lived in Waterhouse up until the age of 16. From there, he moved to St. Mary and later returned to Portmore at age 20. Like many Jamaican youths, he was caught up in the party lifestyle and chasing women, but around age 23, felt a pull on his life. Trey wanted more and believed he could be more. That's when he gave his life to God, got married, and started to walk a new path. Let's welcome Mr. Trey Walters here on the Mailbox, certified Christian life coach and author. Good afternoon, sir. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Good afternoon. I am well, and thank you so much for inviting me. My goal today is to add value to anyone that is listening, any man, any part of any nation, any country, wherever you are. My goal today is to add value to your life.
Hey, thank you. And we appreciate you being here and taking the time out to be with us so that the World Wide Web and all those around can hear your voice and hear what you have to contribute to this global nation, global village as well. And so, man and man, remember, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Remember, you can leave your comments via WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Or call our studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. Also, we are on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Yes, 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 indeed, Kev.
That's right. Just want to give a shout out to Alumni Association. We had Invasion Day today at Morton Bay High School, Carpe Diem, and so people from all over the world, seen some people you haven't seen for 40 years. So it's just good. Welcome to Jamaica. Again, enjoy your time. Bigging up the president, Dr. Brian James, and principal, Miss Kerry Ann Coombe. So just want to give a shout out there. So ladies, what Una say, we can't do without you, even though this is a man program and we have some great men with us this afternoon, this evening. So guess what? We want you to participate. The question we're asking you, how would you deal with a situation where your spouse confess to being unfaithful in the marriage? That's the question we're asking you, ladies. We want you to participate. How would you deal with a situation where your spouse confess to being unfaithful in the marriage? You can participate in the program by leaving us a message via WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube. And remember, females, remember, no calls or voice notes. Allow the man them to call. Allow the man them to leave the voice notes, right? Thank you so much. Hey, Courtney, I go to the shout out.
Oh, yes, man. Time to do our regular thing that we've been doing for the past 13 years. And indeed, we want to involve both Sir Trey Walters and Dr. Simpson. At this time, we normally count to three. 1, 2, 3, and then we shout, Monday! It is what we do here as a part of the tradition now of the mailbox. So after 3, 1, 2, 3, Monday! Yes,
Yep.
man. I think that's one of the hardest Monday I'm ever here or guests I've ever done. Awesome,
Yes.
awesome, awesome. But before we head into the main discussion, it's now time for us to get into the segment we dub draft, which means direct response for the featured theme, where we preliminary open the way to our main segment. So here's a question we want to ask you both. Do you think we're doing enough to create safe spaces for men to talk about infidelity? That's being cheated on. Do you think we're doing enough to create safe spaces for men to talk about infidelity, that is being cheated on by someone else? Yes or no? And if you say yes or no, tell us why you say so. And we start with Sir Trey Waters.
Okay, so for me, I would say no. And the reason why I say no is I myself, when I went through the whole ordeal of infidelity, there's a level of shame and stigma that comes with it. To my knowledge, there is no organization or any group that I could have reached out to say, hey, this is the issue that I'm having. This is what happened. This is how I feel. And to be honest, when I went through infidelity, when the shame went away after I wrote the book and I started to receive so many emails. That's when I realized I wasn't special. A lot of men have experienced this. It's just that there is no space and there's no safe space for them to come and express and say, this is what I went through and this is how I feel. So when I was going through that particular event of my life, I honestly felt alone. I felt shame, I felt stigma, and I didn't really know who to turn to or who to really express it to. And I didn't know who could recognize with me the pain that I'm feeling that can also share in the burden. So my answer is no.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Trey.
We
Dr.
speak from
Simpson.
experience.
All right. Being in the mental health profession, you're privy to certain spaces, but I agree with Sir Walters that it's not a very known topic because I think everybody's trying to do the best that they can, but we still have to factor in that discrimination, fear of stigmatization are major factors. And so for persons to openly say, okay, there's a safe space for persons, this is where you can come and receive the support openly like that, doesn't necessarily exist in the current context. But it doesn't mean that the support isn't there. But at the same time, how do we access them? How do we find them? And again, like Sir Walter's experience, unless you have gone through and then you're now openly sharing this, you're not going to be seeing a lot of spaces that allow for it, which is a sad thing. But the support is there. It's just how to find it effectively.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marlon Simpson. We're talking about men being cheated on and divorce. How does it affect the family? This is the mailbox. I'm Passport Morris sitting with Kevin Bailey, along with our two special guests, Dr. Marlon Simpson and Mr. Trey Walters. We'll hear more about what some of those safe spaces may be, where they are, if you can call them, and how it is that we deal with issues relating to this, especially with men being cheated on. So we take a break and we come right back after these messages.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
This Thursday, October 9, join Dr. Colleen Beckles and Pastor Napoleon Black on the truly marvelous program To Have and to Hold as they uncover one of marriage's most silent struggles. Why couples stop having sex? Is it stress, distance, unspoken hurt? Does love fade or simply fall asleep beneath the weight of life? When connection breaks down, how can couples find their way back to closeness, tenderness, and trust? Because intimacy is more than a moment. It's the heartbeat of togetherness. Tune in this Thursday, October 9 at 5:30 p.m. for the truly marvelous program To Have and to Hold. Only on the family station, Love 101.
Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets. The time that Grace can move is
5:45.
Everybody needs a helping hand, somebody to understand. In the end, we're all human. For people living with HIV, no discrimination. Here to support them through, respect you as usual. got to protect them too. Oh, whether your friend or your family, somebody in your community, people living with HIV. Protect, accept, and respect people living with HIV. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
We know you're making every dollar work harder, choosing carefully, buying what you need, and making it stretch as far as you can. That's why Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets. It's our way of helping you sweeten moments together, share more meals, and take care of the people you love. Make a good move with 20% savings from Grace.
Something big is coming this Christmas. 2 cities, 2 days.
One unforgettable experience.
Mark your calendars. Saturday, December 13th and Saturday, December 20, 2025. The magic of the season is about to hit Jamaica like never before.
Where will it be?
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. I'm Courtney Morrison along with Kevin Bailey. And indeed, we do have an interesting lineup for you today. We're talking about infidelity, when men get cheated on, and divorce, how it affects the family. It's time for what we call the inbox, and this is a segment where we'll dive into questions for the show. Kev, any questions you want to present?
No, sure, lots of questions here. And I think I want to start with Trey. Trey, give us an idea of your formative years, early childhood. Where were you born? What were the experiences you had? You know, give us a sense of what that was like.
Okay, so I would say I had a pretty the normal Jamaican experience growing up. I attended St. Patrick's St. Patrick's Primary, then I graduated to Spanish Town High School. I was pretty much living a normal life until my father migrated. Because after he migrated, you know, when you get to a certain age as a young man, that's when you need your father the most. So after he migrated, you know, I learned quickly to hold up my stress. Things that I wanted to discuss, things that I didn't really understand. There wasn't really anybody to turn to with those discussions. So I spent most of my time partying, drug it, going out with friends, hanging out, until it ended up that because of financial reasons, you know, my mom and I, we had to move to St. Mary. And after I got to St. Mary, I was pretty much just still living the average life. The partying and the work. You know, you go to work or you party, still haven't grasped the meaning of life. It wasn't until one day I went to jog it, and while I was at jog it partying, I just felt this burden, like, is this really that life has to offer me? Just to party and to just, is this really it? Went by the seaside and I said, you know what, if there is a God, I would like to know him, because I don't think that this should be how I'm spending, you know, all of my life. So really and truly, I was trying to do the right thing, but guess what? I learned early that being a man, wanting to do the right thing and doing the right thing isn't the same, because you won't get praise for wanting to do right or trying to do right. Is either you're doing it or you're not. And you know, I tried to walk the right path, the Christian path, the faith, all of that. It wasn't perfect, but I was trying, and you know, that's what led me to wanting to get married and stuff like that, settling down and just trying to live life, you know, be faithful to God, get my honest bread. But you know, I learned quickly that as a man, life is already hard, but when you lack wisdom and knowledge, it gets even harder for you, day by day.
Thank you, Trey. Totally appreciate that. Giving us some context where you're coming from as well. Really appreciate that. Dr. Simpson, I know we heard some of yours, and wonder if you want, at least for those who are new listeners, you know, just share a little bit about your formative years as well.
All right, so thanks for that. So from as early as I can remember, I've always been engaged in social support So even from the age of, say, 16, 17, I've been involved in community improvement projects, things like Boys Brigade, different activities within the church setting as well. But very much always caring about the needs of others. Like Sir Walters, my father migrated, but when I was about 2 or 3, so it's been me and my mother and all the way up till I became a father and I understood what my roles and responsibilities were, how to treat my partner, how to show respect to her, love her with all my heart, and all these things. So um, it's been my history is long and varied, so I won't get into it. But just to say that I've been through a lot, but by God's grace, I am here and doing well.
Thank you, Dr. Man Simpson. Listening to both your stories and both your story and Mr. Trey Waters, I almost said Dr. Trey Waters. Sounds as if there are stories that we could sit here and listen for the entire day. But tell us a bit. We're talking about infidelity, and I want us to just get straight into the meat of the matter and the effects it have on men when men get cheated on. How does it affect them? Their psychology, their mannerisms, their emotions. What happens? Tell us a bit about the psyche, because sometimes we hear about what happens with women, but us men sometimes are left in the background. Sir Walters, I want to start with you.
Okay, so infidelity, I really believe that it has the capability to take a man out if he's not strong, because it really rocks your world. And as men, I think we have a lot on our plates already. We have enough carrying. And from my personal experience, it was just the straw that broke the camel's back, where it made my world feel so unsafe and it felt so unreal, as if nothing made sense. It makes you question even your very identity, because you have to remember now that shame comes in play. Um, it crushes your self-esteem. It makes you feel unworthy. There's a lot of things that are flooding in. And this is how I know it's dangerous, because I really believe that men who are experiencing infidelity, they're a ticking time bomb and they don't know it until it ends up on the news. Where if it's not dealt with, it can end up on the news, because guess what? His entire world has just been shattered, and up doesn't make sense, down doesn't make sense, nothing seems to make sense. And you have to remember that, especially with our culture where you're expected to hold all that in and show no emotion about it, all of that starts to bottle up inside, and you now become a walking time bomb, where the least little thing can trigger you off to extreme levels of violence, even if you're not a violent person. The most humble man you know in the streets, soft spoken or anything, infidelity has the power to push that man into scenarios and situations that nobody would expect. Everybody would be surprised to hear, he really went ahead and did that, because his whole mental frame has been shattered. His home has been shattered. His whatever future plans he was having possibly has been shattered. Past experience has been shattered. His trust has been shattered. His heart has been shattered. And the thing is that most men don't really have that space, because I pretty much went through my infidelity alone. I remember after finding out about the infidelity, I caught COVID after that. And after I caught COVID, I remember just being at a place where I'm not even going to go to the doctor. I'm just going to lay here. And if I die, I die. And I slept on that floor for 3 days. And I remember on day 3, opening my eyes and just saying to myself, if I didn't die, then that means that there's purpose still here for me. And if I can look up and I can get up, and if I have lost, because at that time I lost it all, the infidelity, few days after I lost my job, previous before that I lost my father. So a lot of things were happening. It wasn't just infidelity, it was a lot of things happening. And I just remember saying, now that I have lost it all, there's so much to gain from it. But what we also have to understand is that I'm a man of faith. not every man is a man of faith. Not every man can turn has the ability to like turn to God and say, Father, regardless of everything that's happening, I know you're going to see me through. Not every man has that. So zero support, zero faith, it can really bring a man into a dark place where some of them don't come back from. So for me,
Yeah.
being a man of faith, I just believe that if it didn't take me out, then there's purpose behind it. And that's why I go so hard that's why I go so hard on the topic of infidelity, because I realize that it's a topic that most men are afraid to speak about. So I will wear it like a badge of honor to let them know that you can survive this thing. It doesn't have to destroy you. It can, but it doesn't have to.
You're an overcomer, not just a survivor, and we're happy you're
Mm,
still here with us after going through so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so open. Thank you for being so
Mhm.
vulnerable. Just listening to you there, you know. I will want to hear from you, Doctor, but I just want to read something here before we're going to take a break. And then when come back, Kevin will ask you some questions. It says, why men get angry when cheated on? Ego and pride. Men tend to view infidelity as a personal attack,
mm,
on their ego and pride, feeling disrespected and emasculated. And there's an evolutionary perspective as well. From an evolutionary standpoint, men have historically been more concerned with ensuring the genetic lineage of their offspring. When a partner cheats, it raises questions about paternity. If there are children, that is another aspect that we want to get into. It triggers strong emotional response, and then it leads to a loss of control. Men may feel like they have lost control over the relationship, leading to feelings of anger and
mhm,
frustration. And if I can just go back to you a bit, Dr. Trey, sometimes it may even lead some men to consider suicide, not just lying down and dying, but
mhm,
not being able to face the situation. Suicidal thoughts can come. We also want to talk about overcoming those. We get a bit more. So Dr. Simpson and Dr. Trey. Dr. Simpson, we are about to take a break and come right back. But just one more thing, how men react to infidelity, guarded behavior. Some men become more guarded and less willing to open up emotionally, fearing a repeat. So fear kicks in as well of the painful experience. Violent behavior. In extreme cases, men may react with violence, not justifying it, but it may happen, especially if they feel their partner's infidelity is a threat to their ego or relationship. We're going to take the break right now. This is more song with Kevin Bailey. The program is Mailbox. We're talking about infidelity in marriage, when men get cheated on. We'll come right back after these messages.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
Please note that the program Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef, usually aired at 7:30 p.m., will be aired at 8 p.m. to facilitate the broadcast of Accelerate Pastors and Leaders Conference 2025 on Thursday, October 9 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you for always sticking and staying with us on the family station Love 101.
Something big is coming this Christmas. 2 cities, 2 dates.
One unforgettable experience.
Mark your calendars. Saturday, December 13th and Saturday, December 20, 2025. The magic of the season is about to hit Jamaica like never before.
Where will it be? Who will be there? Stay tuned.
Because season splendor is coming and you don't want to miss it.
Season Splendor. The countdown begins.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man.
Welcome back. This is the Mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on your favorite station, Love 101 FM. Courtney Morrison, Kevin Bailey, and our very special guest, Trey Walters and Dr. Simpson. Marlon Simpson is with us. Dr. Simpson, what happens really in your experience, your expertise, to a man who has been cheated on? And what is he to do with all of those difficult feelings? Trey mentioned some of them, but what really happened to a man when he's cheated on?
All right. So one of the things that we have to look at is the fact that men go through a grieving process first and foremost. So we think of the grieving process, denial, anger, bargaining, hopelessness, and then acceptance. And we think that that's only when a person dies, but it also happens when these things happen in relationships. So men do actually go through a grieving process, maybe not as intense or as prolonged, or probably even do have prolonged moments of having to deal with the death of trust, as it were, right? Additionally, there are things that happen with males, including the onset of depressive symptoms, anxiety, even other mental illnesses that may be pre-existing. A stressful situation like that, or how they interpret it as being stressful, can actually cause them to have a lot of these symptoms coming to the surface. Unfortunately, you do have people that complete suicide as a result of being cheated on. So there are a lot of things. And then when you talk about not having a safe space for a male to really talk and to share a lot of what's on his mind, then you find where the issues I just said a while ago get compounded by the fact that there's the thought that there's no real safe space. And so what is the purpose? How do I deal with it? So you're talking about a male who is perhaps walking around like a ticking time bomb. It just takes one wrong statement, one wrong encounter with somebody to feel or to cause him to quote unquote explode. One of the other things that we do need to bear in mind as well is the fact that men on a whole are supposed to be providers, they are carers, they are the head of the household. So to have their female counterpart cheat on them, it just damages that sense of manhood in a sense. It makes them feel less than in some instances and cause a lot of other problems. They may turn to drugs if they're not already doing that, and abuse of drugs, more so because of the difficulties that they're experiencing and not knowing how to deal with it. So there are a lot of things that men would experience having to deal with this whole matter.
So the grieving process is real. And is there a difference between how men experience infidelity as against women? And I know both of you hinted and said some things, but I wonder if you could go a little further. Let me ask Trey and then come back to you, Dr. Simpson. What's your take on it, Trey? Is there a difference between our man experience infidelity when he's cheated on as against a female?
And Kevin, in that statement, we want you to also answer, we hear it every day. Man can give bun, but him can't take bun. So we want to know what is the difference.
Yeah, yeah. I think men handle it a lot worse because you see, for women, if let's say a woman find out that she's been cheated on, the first thing she's going to do, she's going to call up her girlfriend, she's going to call mom, she's going to immediately start to release that thing. For me, my mom didn't find out about it until I wrote a book. That's how much I kept everything from everyone. So as a man, what happens is we try to hold on to it. When women, they listen. Women, they will talk about it day and night if you let them, right? But for a man to really like open up and find that space where he gets vulnerable and start to release it, to let it go, that he can start to heal. That's the issue. So men hold on to it a lot, a lot, a lot more than women. I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt, it hurts both. But I'm just saying for the women they have more of a safe space. She she has more people she can trust and confide in to say this is what is happening. She can get some level of advice and and so on. But for the men, the shame and the stigma that comes, you're trying to hide it, even though it's destroying you on the inside. You're trying your best to hide it, and like I said, I thought I was one of the few men experiencing this until I wrote the book, and more men started to open up, and that's when I realized that a lot of men are actually hiding, like hugging on to this thing and keeping it. Like, I can't let anyone know about this because what are they going to think about me? They're going to say, "Oh, I'm not a man of my home," and X, Y, Z. So they hold on to it, not understanding that the tighter they grip it, the more damage it is doing to them psychologically, mentally, spiritually, in all forms. So I think men suffer more from it.
Thank you, Trey. Dr. Simpson, your take on that.
I definitely, men and women. Again, I use the grieving process. Grieve differently. So yes, I agree. Women, there have more support bases. There's a lot of encouragement and all that. Now with a man, first of all, it's him gaining the courage to actually say something like this to somebody. That's the first hurdle. Like, how do you even begin a conversation with somebody? Oh, hey, Bridget, yo, I go on, yo, some wife cheat, but it's not as straightforward for a man to really say that. So that's the first thing that we have to bear in mind. Secondly, again, you're pushing against cultural norms where, oh, as a man, you're supposed to, you're not supposed to be cheated on. So that's not even a conversation people even readily want to have with you as an outsider. And then added to that is this whole sense of pride. Whether we like to admit it or not, we as men are very prideful creatures. We don't like people to know our business.
Yeah.
We have situations where if we have shared things with others in the past, we come to hear it from somebody else. And by the time we hear it from somebody else, it's way twisted more than what we even began with. So these things are a lot of represent a lot of barriers to males in particular, to even sharing things that they're struggling with, in particular infidelity. So there are a lot more hurdles for men to overcome in order to get to the stage of actually saying to somebody, "This is a problem." Then what about the response? The response is that you don't even know. People don't even give you much grace or much support. It's always man up, you get over it, go and cheat back. But there are a lot of psychological things that we face that we just don't know how to deal with in situations like this. And then the responses don't necessarily help the situation either.
Dr. Marlon Simpson always say men have it tough, man. He's fighting a couple of battles, one on the inside and one externally. Where does he find, the support base? Where does he find it mentally and emotionally to be strong enough? And that's part of what we want to discuss, and I want to start from now because, we'll get into the next segment. Time might run out on us. How does he overcome these varied stigmas? How does he move forward after finding out this has happened? How does he guard and have self-control and not move to a place of violence in what is happening as we see so often and is highlighted? How does he overcome Trey?
Okay. A man to overcome
In that
something
case,
like
want to
this.
say, how does he heal?
Heal. All right. First things first, purpose. Because I really believe what kept me from crashing out was purpose. Because I really believe that I really believed that there was more to life for me, and it wouldn't worth the thoughts that I was having. I said to myself, it can't be worth it because I can't impact lives from behind bars. So purpose. And when we speak about
So you said from
suicide,
behind bars meant that you were angry enough to think
yep.
something
Oh
that would
yes,
be
man.
behind bars.
Yes, man. Definitely. And when we talk about suicide, we fail to understand that for a man, the moment you lose purpose, you have already committed suicide. It's just a matter of time. So purpose, purpose, you have to have purpose because guess what? Even when you lose it all, if you have purpose, some level of direction in life, in saying, this is what I want, this is where I want to be, this is where I'm going. Yes, it's going to hurt, but you will find the strength and the courage to start picking up the pieces. Because with purpose, life doesn't stop with infidelity. It just it's a hurdle that you find out that, hey, I'm just gonna have to get over this thing. Some way, somehow, I'm gonna have to get over it. Now, if a man doesn't have purpose, when he meets infidelity, the first thing come to his mind is to just end it off. Because what's the point? I've already lost everything. Thoughts like that starts to plague his mind that he should just end it now. But if he has some level of goal, some level of purpose and definiteness, and saying this is what I've always want, and I still believe I can get it, just because somebody hops off the train, that doesn't mean that the train stop going. With that kind of mentality, with purpose, you will find yourself picking up the pieces. You'll find yourself healing. And this is why when I talk to men who are dealing with this thing, I start to ask them about purpose. What is it that they really want from life? Because sitting and crying over what's gone, it's already gone. That's already happened. But what is it that you want? And the funny thing is, when you start to work on that purpose, it also starts the healing process for you. Because it was when I wrote the book, it's when I started to do public speaking. That's when I started to take my mental health a lot more seriously. That's when I started, like, therapy is really important. And while aiming towards purpose, it helps me to pick the pieces up. So I would say purpose. So man, you need that definite and that purpose to start that healing process, to start moving and going forward.
Oh, thank you, Trey. So much you have said there, and I am hoping we'll unpack some more in the next session as well. But before we go for our next break, Dr. Simpson, how do men move further along towards healing?
All right. In addition to what was already said, is for the male to understand that seeking help is you being more mature than anything else. It takes a real man to say, I don't know how to deal with this. I'm going to need some kind of guidance. But the wording is where we have a problem. Once you say that a male needs help, support, he's not functioning well, you're automatically shutting him down and saying, look, no, this is too much. But it's more of they need guidance. There's more to learn. There are improvements that can be made. So even we begin then by changing the language that we use as men. So I'm not seeking help. I'm gaining more knowledge to make myself a better person coming out of this situation. So if we think of approaching persons who we are relatively close to and we can share certain things with, then we can say, all right, there are some things I need some kind of advice on or guidance on, right? So changing the language allows the male to feel a lot more comfortable and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, let me just get some guidance from somebody else.
Let's stick a pin there at getting guidance from somebody else. We're up on our final break. It's 6:15 in the evening. You're listening to Love 101. The program is The Mailbox. We'll come right back after this.
You
can see the face, but not the heart. Those who want to do you wrong. So many times.
Bless up. This is Christopher Martin. Human trafficking is a crime. Let's unite to end human trafficking. Be wise, open your eyes. Spot them, stop them, and report them.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
No shadow after dark. No shadow after dark.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. We're in our final segment. We're talking about infidelity in marriages, and we're focusing on when men get cheated on. Dr. Simpson, before we went for the break, just continue from there for me, please. We want to hear.
All right. So men seek guidance from other people as well. So that is something that we do need to bear in mind. That getting the support, having a listening ear, is critical. It's also about persons who have gone through similar things to share some of their experiences. Maybe you don't want to go too in depth or say, boy, I may have experienced something like that before. And so it's a mentorship kind of thing. We have a lot of older males who I believe have gone through a lot of things, and so they provide that kind of support and guidance that younger ones need as well. We always talk about counseling, psychotherapy, because all of us are bound by law to keep your information secure. And if you find that we're sharing your information, then there can be legal implications for us. So there's that safeguard to say,
Yep.
we really can't talk about what you discuss with us. And, if people who, there are, let's face it, a lot of us as males don't find it very comfortable to talk to anybody about what we're going through. So there are some healthy activities as well. So playing a sport, football, basketball, swimming, anything to kind of dispel out of the energy. It helps you to process a lot of what's going on there as well. So there are quite a few physical activities that people can engage in, males can engage in, to really deal with it if they don't feel that they can talk about a lot of what's going on with them.
Thank you, Dr. Simpson. I really appreciate that. And Trey, how, from your perspective, what would you like to see, for instance, churches do or society when it comes to giving guidance to men and learning the language, Dr. Simpson saying, and allowing them to learn and grow and develop and become better? Yes, what would you say?
Okay. I really believe that there's no unity between men. You find out every man is doing their own thing. Some over there, so some over here. So, even in Jamaica, I think I've seen at least 50 conferences. I believe I've seen at least 50 women's conferences for the year start for women. So that shows that women are, constantly uniting, coming together, figuring out ways how they can move forward. While for men, I think I've only seen one men's conference, and you still had to really beg them to come. So I think we have to help them to realize the value that is in mentorship, the value that is in therapy, the value that is in your well-being as a man. Because to function correctly as a man, you really have to learn to process your emotions. There's a lot of things that a lot of us missed out on growing up as young men. We weren't really taught to process certain things and to open up and to share. Some of us have bad experiences from sharing and hearing it back. So I think for the men who have been through the storm, we just really have to come together and say, okay, we're going to create the space. If it's not there, we're going to create it for the young men. We're going to show them the value that is in it and encourage them to come out and be a part of that. You don't have to wait until your life completely falls apart before you seek the help, before you try to figure things out. And I believe if we put more emphasis, and I think men have to start caring about men for things to change.
Yes.
You have to start,
Yes.
men have to start, that, because it is so sad that, sometimes, even during my session, sometimes when I see grown men breaking down and crying, and I'm like, to his family, he seems fine. To his wife, he seems fine. But here is a man who is going through it. He just doesn't have anybody to talk to about it. So we have to be the one that, we have been through the storm. We see how dangerous it is. I myself, seeing how close I came to the edge, that's where I just decided that I am just going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to add value, to help, to steer men away from this path. So we as men have to start caring about other men, and that's when things will change. I think too much of us as men, we see things happening and we just turn a blind eye to it because we just believe that, oh man, a man, so just man it up.
Yes.
That never makes sense. What does that even mean,
Yeah.
right? So once we start to dig a bit deeper, examine the roots and actually provide real help, then more men will be reaching out. More men will be saying, okay, this seems like someone I can reach out to, someone I can trust. This seems like a program I want to be a part of. That's how we start to win, when we start to bring back the unity amongst men. Because guess what? As long as there is no unity, we won't be able to excel or grow. Because if everybody is doing their own thing and trying to hold up their own burden, their own stress, when we can all come under a roof and hold it up together, that's when we're going to see progress
Yes.
amongst men, amongst the youths.
Excellent, excellent, Mr. Trey Waters. Dr. Simpson, you're part of CPFSA, Child Protective Family Services Agency. What do you see happening? What support does CPFSA offer to our men going through infidelity? Have you seen them coming? What does the agency do in terms of helping there?
All right. So we as an agency, we don't necessarily help in terms of infidelity. We look primarily at children and families, and how to support them. But I can speak though from the private practice perspective, if that's okay with you,
Yeah.
where
Okay.
the support that we offer is primarily based on helping the individual to see the value in himself. When we're talking about the males, all right, who are you allowing them to explore their truths? What are the things about them that make them strong, that make them independent? Teaching them that is not the end of the journey, it's not the end of the road. There's life after infidelity. Whether it is with the same person or you move on with your life. But there is that sense of teaching them that, hey, it's not the end, as we said before. Um, but what does the new life look like? What does trust look like? What does a healthy mindset look like now, after all these experiences? Because after these experiences, your whole life is different. So it's helping them to really understand themselves better and to provide themselves with the best support, in all ways.
Thank you for that, Dr. Marlon. I've had a case where once a young man I was counseling, he was about to get married to a pastor's daughter. He was a part of our police services, and he called me and told me he was in the car park, and I came out. When I got in the car, he asked me to come in the car. I sat beside him, and he central locked the vehicle, pulled out his service revolver, placed it in his lap, and said, Pastor, I can't do this anymore. He decided to send the young lady through school, and in school, she found someone else. I thought to myself, Father, right, so I come to end this seriously. And I said to him, let's seek an alternative. There are other fishes in the sea. It's good that you find out now before you get into marriage. And the moment he looked away, I just stretched my hands across, took the gun out of his lap and put it across the other side. He just bawled. He just bawled. This issue of infidelity affecting our men, it's very real. It also explains why some of our men complete suicide 8 times more by the survey done by Dr. Donovan Thomas here in Jamaica. And it's something that I believe needs to be seriously attended to with what is happening. Any final words of encouragement from you both, Dr. Simpson, Mr. Walters, Trey? Final words of encouragement.
Oh, okay. What I would say to the men out there is that you come into this world with nothing, and you have to understand that at any moment, all of it can be taken from you. Except if you have received Christ as Lord, nobody can take him away from you. And what I've learned is that as a man, You have to get to that place. Try and get to that place mentally tough. Where you get to that place where you know that I can lose it all tomorrow, but it wouldn't stop me. Even if I should wake up and lose it all, I can rebuild. Because you see, as a man, I'm telling you, you come into this world. The moment you come into this world, it's already hard. It's already hard, and it gets harder. The more reckless decisions you make, the harder it gets. So I would say to young men, seek wisdom, seek knowledge, learn, learn, learn. Read books that are self-help books. Build up yourself, because that's where you're going to stand when the day of testing comes, and it comes for every man. It might not come in the form of infidelity, but you're going to experience loss as a man. And what happens is that some men lose so much that they just don't believe they can get anything back. So when they lose it all, they lose themselves. Have you ever seen some men that after one particular thing happen in life, it's as if they just gave up? So you want to get to that place where you're so rooted and so centered, you know that the breeze may blow and the storms may come, but I'm still standing and I will remain standing. So learn to build up your mind. Take care of your mental health. This is very important. Don't forget that.
Thanks very much, Trey. Dr. Simpson, in the next minute and a half.
All right. So definitely looking about your mental health is just as important as your physical health, because it doesn't make sense that we build our physical muscles, but then our mental muscles are wasting away. So getting enough physical activity in, being intentional about who you are, your purpose, how you plan to manage different situations. So there are things that we need to ensure that we continue to do as males, to continue to uplift ourselves and to break the stigma. Again, I wanted to emphasize that seeking help, or seeking support, rather, guidance and love, actually takes a bigger man to do than anybody else. It really takes a strong man to admit that there is added support that is needed to manage or navigate certain situations that are difficult. That's really what I'd want to leave.
Well done, gentlemen. And thanks to Jermaine Johnson, our producer, Niku Angos, our technical support, and we say a big thanks to you, Mr. Trey Walters, Dr. Marlon Simpson. Thanks for taking the time out to be with us today. Dr. Marlon Simpson is a grief counselor. Trey Walters, a certified Christian life coach and author. We end the show with this quote: resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it will kill your enemies. So says Nelson Mandela. We thank to our in-studio support. I think it's Durval who's there. Good afternoon.
Thanks so much. That's it for this week. Catch you next Wednesday, October 15, 2025. Same place, same time, inside the mailbox. Thanks again, gentlemen. We say Monday up. Have a great rest
Monday up.
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man. Hey man, I am a man, yes.
Something big is coming this Christmas. 2 cities, 2 dates.
One unforgettable experience.
Mark your calendars. Saturday, December 13th and Saturday, December 20, 2025. The magic of the season is about to hit Jamaica like never before.
Where will it be? Who will be there? Stay tuned,
because season splendor is coming and you don't want to miss it.
Season Splendor. The countdown begins.
You're tuned to Family Radio. We're broadcasting from Kingston, Jamaica, where the time is now 6:30 p.m. It's time, therefore, for us to bring you the latest temperature check and weather report